Hello everybody, I thought I'd do a video on the most famous gas mask in the world because weirdly I've never done a review on it, so here we go. We're going to have a review of the Soviet GP-5 gas mask, or the Russian GP-5 gas mask as it's also known. So this is the world's most produced gas mask with over 100 million of them made. We'll have a look at the features and I'll give you my verdict on how good I think it is. So the mask itself is a very simple latex hood. It was made either in a white grey sort of rubber like this one or a black rubber. Both are exactly the same in terms of features, just the colour of the rubber is different. The mask has the eyepieces crimped directly onto the rubber with a bit of fabric, and the bottom sort of filter in and out unit crimped onto there. We'll look at those in a bit more detail in a moment. The mask itself is a simple latex hood. It has no straps, it's just pulled over the head. The mask was designed to be put in nuclear fallout shelters all across the Soviet Union, and it was basically designed so, everybody could have a gas mask, all the civilians. They made over 100 million of these. Now, if you think about the population of the USSR during communist times, that was bigger than 100 million, but there were other gas masks as well of this one that had been produced. So, unlike the previous GP4 mask, to make a mask in far more numerous numbers as a GP5, they had to simplify things. So, the majority of this mask is just basically latex. It fits onto the shape of your head, but it's basically just a latex hood with an intake-outtake port on the bottom and eyepieces on it. So you simply stretch it over your head to put it on. I'll demonstrate this in a moment. You've got your intake valve there, and your outtake valve there. So as you can hopefully see, the inside of this mask is very simple. Here's the outtake hole, there, and there's the intake. It comes up through these tubes, it blows onto the eyepieces to demist them, and it also flows out into your sort of nose or mouth. When you exhale, it's lower down, so it should be directed downwards. The defogging system works quite well for a mask that's so cheap. As you can essentially see, all this is basically a latex hood with two eyepieces and the intake-outtake at the bottom. Very simple. No fancy features, this is what made it so cheap to mass produce. Now, as this is the world's most produced gas masks with over 100 million of these made, you should be able to get this for easily under $20 or £20, complete with a carrying bag and a few other accessories. A lot of people ask, is there a danger in buying these in the sense of there being radioactive or something? No. These were simply just put into storage everywhere and were never issued because the Cold War never went hot. The only danger with GP5 lies with their Russian filters, or the Soviet filters, and these were basically, they had asbestos in them when they were made, and we now know, of course, asbestos is not safe. So if you get one of these masks, do not use the green filter, just don't risk it. Put a new filter on it. You can brute force a 40mm NATO filter on it, or you can buy a brand new 40mm GOST filter from either Russia or Poland, somewhere that uses this kind of filter port, and put that on. Then the mask is perfectly safe. And yes, the masks still work. As long as the valves are intact on your mask, it will still function. It's very, very simple. As said, you can get these with sort of little canvas carry bags, nothing exceptional. There are much better gas mask bags out there, but you have to weigh up how much a mask costs on its own as compared to buying it as a complete set, because you're going to want to put a new filter on it anyway. Okay, I will now demonstrate how to put on the mask. You grab the mask with both your hands like this, on either side of it. You put it into your chin and then pull it over while keeping this bit pulled. So here we go. That's it, the mask's on. That's all there is to it. You might want to adjust it a bit to get your chin in the right place, but that's the mask on, that's all there is to it. No straps to fiddle around with, just get the size that fits you. As you can see, the anti-fogging system works very well, it works as intended. And to check if you've got an airtight seal, put your hand here. When you inhale, it will cause the mask to pressurise because air can't get inside. And when it pulls tight to your face that it's pressurised. So just to demonstrate again. When I'm breathing in and out without my hand there,
the mask works as normal. Put my hand here and breathe in, and the mask pulls tight to my face. To remove it,
just pull it straight off your face. It's really easy. So as mentioned, it was much cheaper to make than the previous GP4 mask because it's all one rubber unit essentially, and it has no straps. It just pulls tight to your head. If you like this sort of mask but want something more advanced, there's the GP-5M, also known as the GP-6 or the PMG-2, multiple names for the same mask, and that's essentially just the GP-5 with a voice diaphragm here, so you can hear more clearly, or at least other people hear you more clearly. You speak louder with it on, it amplifies your voice. Or you can get some of the military masks that use the same kind of latex hood design as the GP-5 did. But all in all, for a very cheap mask, as long as you don't use the asbestos filter that comes with them, these GP-5s are actually really good masks for the price. Sure, they could be more comfortable, but if you think of what they did, they made 100 million of these masks very cheaply. They don't cost much as surplus, and it does its job. It saves your life in a nuclear attack. It's very, very good, because you also have to bear in mind that a lot of the other civil defence kind of masks like this, built on a massive budget, weren't up to the same standards as a GP-5. Many nations like Britain actually designed masks and then withdrew them because they realised it would cost too much to make masks for all their civilian population. As evil as the communists were in many ways, they at least made a mask for their entire civilian population, so there's that. To give you some example of that, there's a British C7 respirator on the left. This was made in the 1950s of the British population before the government decided they couldn't afford to give everybody gas masks, took them back and recycled them. If you can get your hands on one of these, it's quite rare. Again, don't wear it, nasty stuff in the filter. But a very interesting collector's item because there's so few of these around because they destroyed so many of them. So all in all, for little money a GP-5 will cost you for a surplus gas mask, it's actually very good. It's a nice interesting bit of history. It could save you from stuff if you put a new filter on it, as long as it's in good condition, and it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg. So as long as you don't use the asbestos filter with it, it's perfectly safe.